One of the things that was most significant for me was a time I was afraid to share the gospel. We were in the middle of an outreach, and I was going to be staying longer than some of my teammates, and so one of the local pastors asked me to share my faith during the middle of a basketball game, and I said yes, because that's what you're supposed to say. But then I weaseled out of it. I found a way. I was too afraid, too nervous about what I was supposed to say, making sure I said it the right way. And so I convinced somebody else to do it. And I never forgot that. It just weighed on me all summer long. And I made a personal commitment to the Lord after that. I would never be ashamed again. And Romans 1:16 has become a significant verse because of that. I'm not ashamed of the gospel. A failure was redeemed by the Lord to produce, in this case, a minister or a missionary. Megan and I, we met in youth group in middle school, and we've both felt called to mission since around the time we started college. When we first signed up with MTW, we had anticipated going to one place, but in God's providence, the doors were closed, so we were definitely called to missions and definitely had no idea where. And so we began to pray, we began to ask, we talked to anybody we could talk to at MTW, and the list swelled. Every person you talk to, it's just incredible opportunity after incredible opportunity to pour your life into. And so we really found ourselves getting almost frustrated by that, of analysis paralysis of how do you choose? How do you possibly weigh ministering to orphans against building the church where it's never been, against ministering to those who are being trafficked, and so on and so forth? How do you weigh those things? And so after a few months of frustration and praying, Megan and I were on a walk one night, and it was her who said, "You know, O'Brien, I think we've been praying for the wrong thing. We keep asking where, and we keep trying to evaluate all the merits of this place and that. And I really sense that God's calling us to pray for who. Who should we minister to? Who should we pour our lives into? Let's ask God to break our heart for a people group." And within 2 weeks, we knew we were going. We knew we were going to Berlin. All of our hopes, all of our excitements, all of our hurts, they all came together in a perfect way in the people in Berlin. We brought our 2 daughters over with us, Madeline and Julia, and then Emma was born here. And so we're figuring out what it means to be a family of 5 in Berlin. We were sitting in class and it was break, and I was just reading my Bible. Everybody else had left the room, and a Chinese student came in and kind of looked strangely at the Bible and said, "What are you reading?" I think I'm reading a Bible. And she said, "That's a Bible? I've never seen one of those. Can I see it?" And I was like, "Of course." And we were able to talk about it. I ended up just giving it to her, and I never would have met her if we'd stayed at home. You're putting yourself in the path of people who have not had a chance, genuinely not had a chance to hear. And when you live that unashamed life in a context like that, it's not a question of if you're going to have opportunities, it's just when they're going to fall into your lap. And the Lord really does use you when you ask Him to. You get that in your home, but when you experience it and you live it elsewhere, it broadens your view of what God's doing. It makes God and His kingdom so much bigger than it ever was. One of the things we shared when we were support raising was the parable in Matthew 13, in 44 through 46. And it's the parable of the kingdom of God. And in the parable, Jesus compares the kingdom of God to a man who's out in a field and he's digging and he stumbles upon treasure. And it says in his joy, he covered the treasure back up and he went and sold all that he had so that he could buy the field. And we think we found treasure in Berlin. And so we sold out to to buy the field, to buy what's here in Berlin.